guys. So, I'm kind of losing light, but I will try to. We'll do this and see if it works, and if it doesn't, then we'll just we'll do this tomorrow. But I wanted to kind of film my fiber acquisitions over the last couple weeks from when I was in the States and some stuff that I got here. There's going to be lots of like crinkling just because I have a lot of my fiber in space bags, and you know, if you spin, then you know, it comes like this. So so it doesn't always you know, it's not the most sound friendly stuff, but I thought I'd make a video just of fiber and wheel stuff in case some people watch the podcast and they're more into the knitting and chatty chats than the fiber and spinning, and then that way we can talk about fiber and spinning and the wheel without boring everybody else to death. So, in case you don't know, my name is Nina. Welcome. This is the Fuzzy Love Knots podcast, and this is a special edition wheel fiber. Woo! So this isn't going to have an episode number. We might call this like episode 9.1 because it's kind of, you know, an addendum to another episode. Yeah, so welcome back. You can find me on Instagram as NLaFontaine, and you can find me on Ravelry as Fuzzy Love Knots. There's also a group for the podcast, and now that there is a wheel in my life, there's also going to be some spinning threads in the group as well. So for you spinners and other fiber lovers, I'd love to see your hand spun. I'd love to hear any advice that you have. Yeah, so let's just dive right in. So a lot of people have asked me through Ravelry, like PMing me, how I chose my wheel and just kind of like my process behind that. So I'll go into that first before I get into like the stash stuff. So here's my wheel. I'm not going to move her because I'm sitting down and that's a bit hard to do. I decided to get a Ashford Joy 2. She's a double treadle. You can't see both of her treadles, but her other footman's down here. And with a sliding hook flyer. They all come with sliding hook flyers now, I think. And the reason I chose to get a Joy as opposed to some other wheels that are in the same, have similar options and stuff like that, is a couple things. One, even though we have a larger apartment, my wheel is going to be in my room with my husband and I, so that it's not in the rest of the house with, you know, my mother-in-law and in the public space. And that doesn't leave us a whole ton of room in here. I mean, we have a spare bedroom that's like a storage room, but I don't want my wheel on the whole other side of the house, and then you have to go over there and, you know, all that stuff. So that means that I had like a limited amount of space for the wheel to fit. And you know, certain dimensions that it needed to fit into. The other thing is that we travel quite a bit. My camera's falling. Sorry. We travel quite a. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be so annoying. Hold on, let me fix this. Okay. We travel quite a bit, and while we don't travel tons all the time. We do travel for maybe like 2 or 3 weeks, or even a month or 6 weeks at a time. So, like if we were going to California, for instance, for 6 weeks to see family and just to hang out and just to decompress, I don't think that I would necessarily want to leave my wheel at home and not spin for 6 weeks, especially if I'm going to be buying fiber to stockpile while I'm in the States to bring home. You know, I'm going to want to be able to maybe sample some of that to see if I want to buy more or something like that. And if I wanted to bring my wheel with me, then that means that it would need to be a traveler. It would need to be able to fold up and be meant for traveling. And then that right there really narrows the field down a lot. So the dimensions of the Joy, just in case, I mean, you can go onto the Ashford website and download the manual in case you're interested. Most of the wheel companies and manufacturers have the manuals available for downloads, just so you can see all the specs and everything. But it's, I believe, 24 inches high. No, 60 inches high, 24 inches wide, and I think only, no, that's, I don't know what that's wrong. That's wrong. I don't know. I'll down here in writing, and I'll put what the dimensions are. But she fits in a suitcase. She fit in the larger of the suitcases that we brought, with room to spare. So when I packed her in the suitcase, what I did was I, flipped the treadles up. They flip up and then they lock. And I flipped the treadles up, and then I packed yarn in space bags underneath the wheel. And then I put stuff on the top and bottom so that the top of the body here, where the flyer and the whirl is, wouldn't be knocking on the suitcase. And at the bottom of the treadles, they wouldn't be hitting on the suitcase either if they handled it roughly. I put like socks and other stuff that could pad it. And then on the top of the wheel, I put more space bagged fiber and stuff. So it was sandwiched and packed really well. And it fit in a large suitcase. And then when we got to the airport, I had them slap a Fragile sticker on the suitcase as well. And when I did that, I said, hey, could you put a Fragile sticker on the suitcase? And she said, okay, what's in the suitcase? And I said, my spinning wheel. And she looked at me like, that's a new one. So, so that's how I actually got her back to the States. There wasn't any trouble getting her through customs or anything. So that was that. But I knew I wanted something that had a pretty good range of ratios on the whirl. I knew, I knit with a lot of lace weight and fingering weight yarn, and then I knit with a lot of worsted weight yarn. So I knew that I'd want to spin those two weights because that's what I knit with the most. I know that I'm going to want to knit with my handspun. And I know that the fibers that I have here available to me in Chile are merino and Corriedale. Corriedale is a medium length staple, but merino is a shorter one that requires some more twists. So I knew I was going to want something that had a good variety of ratios, so I wouldn't have to work. I don't want to have to treadle a million miles an hour to be able to get the twist that I want. I also liked that it had sliding hooks on the flyer, and it had a larger bobbin than some of the other wheels, some of the other flyers that I saw. I've been able to put like 6 ounces on that. almost 6 ounces, almost 200 grams. I've been able to apply almost 200 grams on that flyer so far. So, like this is 200 grams, and I applied this and got that all on that bobbin, on that flyer. So, I've been super happy with it. It's Scotch tension. The only thing I am getting used to is, well, all of it's getting used to because it's the only spinning wheel I've ever had. But I don't like how the peg comes out for the brake band here. That's kind of obnoxious to me. I feel like it just comes out a little easy, but it's just something that I have to get used to and ease of adjusting. I know some are more of like a screw type, and that might be easier. That's just something to consider. I do like, though, how the orifice hook, the place to hide the orifice hook is opposite where the tension is, so it looks symmetrical. I did add, oh, you kind of can't see it. I'll tip it down so you can see. I did have my dad help me add, I went to the hardware store and found some brass finished hooks that are just L-shaped hooks. They just look like that with a screw end. And I had him help me measure a distance down and then measure a center on both sides and help me screw them in. So I'd have some hooks for hanging my wraps per inch tool and my spinner's control card, as well as, say, breaking off and tying off yarn or something like that if I was in the middle of a spin and needed to stop. Because really, the other wheels have kind of knobs and places, like on the Maiden of All and things, to like tie stuff, and this wheel doesn't really have something like that because the flyer just kind of stands out, and there really isn't some place for that. So I knew I wanted to add something like that in, so my dad helped me with that. It is a double treadle. I don't know if I said that. Yeah, I did buy extra bobbins. Initially, I only bought one extra bobbin, and then common sense kicked in, and I bought, I think, 2 or 3 more. So I have, I think, a total of 6 or 7 bobbins, which is good because that means I can do multiple spins at once. But because I have so much time to dedicate to spinning, like, I can easily spin 4 ounces of singles in a day, let them sit on the bobbin overnight, and apply them the next day. I have no problem doing that. Apply them the next day and then start on my next spin that day. Like, I could spend 5 hours spinning in a day easily. So, projects don't languish at all. And, so the only reason that I have the extra bobbins is for multiple plies, or if I'm spinning a single color project, I do find that I get a little bit over it quickly. I'm spinning white at the moment, and I'm kind of over it already. And I have this much left to go. I have like almost 100 grams left, and I'm like over it already. But, so that's my wheel. I love her so much. Her name is Bonnie. I know some of you were thinking of asking if I had named her. I named her Bonnie because for some reason I felt like her name should be kind of, I don't know, kind of mirror the way I feel about her, and I just think she's so pretty, and she's just a nice thing. So first thing that kind of popped in my head was she's a Bonnie lass. So so her name is Bonnie. So there's Bonnie for you. If you have any questions about her, let me know, and either put it in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube, or please head on over to the group and you can ask any questions you want in the group. I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. And keep in mind, I'm totally like a new spinner, so you might ask a question I have no idea how to answer you, and if that's the case, then I'll tell you I have no idea. So yeah, there's that. So I went through my handspun so far in already in the podcast. So I'm not going to go through each of my handspun so far, handspun skeins, but I will hold them up because they're all fiber that I added to my stash and then spun. So since this is kind of like a stash video also, you know, that's stash, but it's already been worked. So we'll talk about the fiber, but not so much the spin. So let's do that first. We'll do spun fiber so far first. Okay, so some fiber that I got from my friend Amy, who is in the UK. She lives in England, and she dyes some wonderful yarn and fiber, and she has a wonderful blog also called Stranded, I believe. I'll put it right here. I'll put the address right here. And so she gifted me some of her fiber, and I was waiting to spin it until I didn't think I would mess it up. So this is some merino that she had dyed for me. I took a picture of the before and I posted on Instagram. And I spun up a fingering weight. I just two-plied it. Really pretty, super squishy. I got decent yardage. I mean, I'm having kind of trouble getting yardage on just like 4 ounces. Some people get like amazing yardage. Some people are like, oh yeah, I can get 400 plus yards of fingering weight on 4 ounces, no problem, by spinning. And I'm just like, I have no idea how you do that, because like, yes, there are some larger pieces, but really that is an exception. Like the rest of this is, you know, pretty consistent. But I know that like, where to go? That's not going to get me an extra 300 yards, you know? So, I mean, like, I have no idea how people get so much yardage out of their handspun. So, if somebody has tips on that, please let me know, because I'd love to know how to increase my yardage so much. And then this braid is a BFL silk that Amy had dyed for me. Oh goodness, look at that. It's so squishy. It says merino silk on the tag, but she had written to me that it was BFL silk, so. Oh my gosh, it's so nice and squishy. It's like a little cloud. That's going to be so much fun to spin. I love how it's a gradient. It starts out with this tealy color and then goes into blues and then goes back to teal. So that's going to be so much fun to spin. I already know that this is probably going to be a hat. Or this might be, well, this is going to be chain plied probably too. But this might also be a, I'm thinking, oh gosh, I just want to rub it all over my face. I don't have any makeup on today, so I can do this. It smells good too. I'm also thinking that this might be fun to spin up something that's gray, natural color gray, in a similar weight, and then do a 2-color brioche with a gray, or oatmeal, or purple, maybe 2-color brioche That's a solid one color, and then the other color is this in the gradient. I think would be gorgeous in a hat or something like that, because brioche is so warm and squishy. Or cowl. If you didn't watch my other episode, this is the addendum to it. I'm planning on knitting the Exploration Station from Stephen West, and that brioche, man, that's gonna be the death of me, because I know I'm gonna be frustrated with it, but I know that the end result is gonna get me obsessed with brioche. So stay tuned, because I'm gonna be spinning things purposefully so I can knit them into brioche projects. Okay, so this is some merino that I've gotten from a local fiber fair here. It's local Chilean merino. And spun it up a fingering. This is the difference, guys. Soaked and thwacked, not washed yet. Isn't that like such a difference? It's just skeined up so it doesn't get all gnarled on itself, because it's, you know, it still has energy in it. It's not soaked yet. So I'm trying to get through these hand spun already fast so we can get to the beautiful braids. This is a skein that I spun of Be Mice Elf. And I really loved this fiber. The prep was great. It's soft, it's bouncy, so drapey. I didn't write it down. It's on the tag, which is lost somewhere still in my luggage here somewhere. The yardage on it was fairly decent, I remember. This probably will be a hat. I'm planning on knitting all my hand spun. Oh, the rest of my hand spun's back there hiding. Oh no, it's right here. Okay. And then this is, oh gosh, I'm not going to be able to say this. Frabjois? Frabjou? Frabjou? Fibers. Redwood Forest BFL. That's how that spun up. There. You can see the colors better if you hold it in front of my face for some reason. So I love how Barber pulled. There's some pops of purple in it also. Can't really see the purple too well. There you go. And with this, I split the braid right in half and spun to 2 bobbins and then 2-plied it. And it barber pulled really pretty with the teal, and then sometimes the gold matched up. Gold matched up like right where it should have. This spin was just so much fun. And this was my first, and look how, seriously, look how bouncy. Watch this. Look at that. Oh, this is just like, this was my first spin that I did with like true dyed fiber, and it was like such a luxury for me, and this was like made me fall in love. This made me fall in love with my wheel. And it's not my first spin. My first hand spun's over there. I showed it on the podcast. And but I just like, look how drapey and so nice. And my mom loved this so much that she had me get this for her. Let me show you. Okay, here we go. We're getting into the stash part now. We're getting into the stash enhancements. Okay, so my mom saw me spin that, and she loved it so much that she said, like my mom does, hey Nina, would you buy some fiber, have me buy some fiber? If I buy some fiber, would you spin it for me and then knit me a shawl? And I said, okay, Mom. So she loved that fiber so much that she bought it in a different base. She bought, these are only 2. There's 4 of these braids. One of them has a lot more purple in it than the other does. Oh my gosh, guys. It is silky cashmerino, 70% superfine merino, 15% cashmere, 15% silk. This stuff is like butter. It feels like butter. And seriously, look at that. Do you see it? There's going to be, I'm not going to have to prep anything with this. This is just like, let me just draft this right now without even thinking of it. It's just like amazing. So, come on, let me pull that back in so it doesn't get all fluff. But, like, this is going to be just the best shawl, and I'm so sad that I have to give it away. But the colors in here are great. They're teals, like really super saturated teals, and then blips of like purpley gold and like just so pretty. So I have 4 of these. So I have 12 ounces. No, 4 of these. Geez, 16 ounces. Who am I? So good. So good. So hopefully I'll have enough yardage for a shawl, definitely. And then hopefully I'll have a little bit of leftover that she can pay me with. I mean, she said she'd, reimburse me for my efforts, is what she said. But I don't know. We'll see about that. But I'm just, the spinning of this will be reimbursement enough. So, I had some love knitting orders, and I'm planning on keeping my fiber in these little sachet bags, these like net bags, because it lets them get air and it keeps dust off of them and stuff. So I have 4 of these guys. I was so happy that I was able to, while I was in the States, place an order from Melissa from Hey Lady Hey. I absolutely love her. I think she's just like the sweetest gal ever, and her philosophy with fiber just is so inspiring, and she's just such an amazing person. And when I saw this on her Instagram, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be in the States, I get to buy something from your shop. So I did. I bought this. So here's her card with the fiber. So it's Targi. And there's the name of the colorway. I believe it's 4 ounces. She didn't say. And here it is. It's this gorgeous greens and purples and like this kind of aubergine-y brown. It's so gorgeous. She spun up some in some singles and kept it as singles, and I'm really tempted to try to do that. I have some Targi that's just plain white, and I think I'm going to spin it first and do some sampling on it and see how the fiber spins. Oh gosh, it's just so beautiful. And see how the fiber spins up, and see how I would like to see how it spins up as singles, to see how I would treat this and spin this. But I was just like so pleased with this, and oh goodness, if shipping to Chile wasn't so expensive, I would buy from her constantly. She has fiber clubs. She has little mini bats. She has, oh goodness, guys, she just got fleeces, CVM fleeces that she's been hand skirting, that she's taking to a mill to make into roving and yarn. I just, seriously, if you haven't checked her out yet, you need to, because it just is so inspiring. And it's all like American wool, all hand like processed. Obviously it's mill, but it's American raised and processed, hand dyed. It's just, oh, so great. She does sell some of her hand spun also. So if you like hand spun, but you don't spin, you can buy hand spun also. So these braids I purchased from Woolly Bully on Etsy. Here's her little tag that was on my bag. And this colorway is Arcadia, and it's on Falkland. And I haven't taken this out of the bag yet, so I will do so right now. Because I need to like repack all this stuff for putting it away anyways. Okay, so, and this is this. Another gradient. Again, how great would this gradient be in brioche? With the green to the purple to the navy. Somebody else that I follow on Instagram spun this exact braid. Like right, she was spinning it right. I had bought it, but it hadn't shipped yet. And then I saw she was spinning it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just bought that. So I'm so excited. And Falkland, so it's, you know, it's really soft, super, I mean like bouncy, bouncy. And then I also got from her, hold on, let me put the tag back in the bag so I don't lose it. Okay. And then I also got from her, this one is Raw Turquoise. And this one's on Columbia. I tried to get a variety of bases so that, and these are both non-superwash. I tried to get a variety of bases so that I would be able to spin a variety of wools and see what I liked the most. I know that, you know, not every, like, this is not going to necessarily represent all Columbia, and that's not necessarily going to represent all Falkland, and depends on where they get their wool and all of that. But it'll help me better make a judgment. And I tried to get things that would be more difficult for me to get here. Like merino and cordell abound. So. And I thought this was pretty because that teal, that minty color is just so soft. And I have no idea how I'm going to apply this. I need to think about it. I have to also open up the braid and see exactly how speckled it is. Because when it's in a braid like this, it's really deceiving. So that's that. Raw Turquoise on Columbia. 4 ounces. In her order, when I got her order, it also came with these little, oh no, just kidding. This was from Be Myself, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so when I got my order from Be Myself, it came with these little sachets that are full of cedar and lavender. And I just thought, how great was that? So I got 2 little sachets. One has more lavender in it than the other one. So I think I'm going to open them up and then remix them so they're more equal. And then I might, next time I make a little bunny nugget, pop some cedar and some lavender in them. Oh goodness. They smell so good. And we just got like a lavender bush and a frankincense bush. So, yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to kind of see what goes on with that. So, from sorry. So the rest of this, I mean, I have some plain white that I'll show also, but the rest of this is from Be Myself. Okay, so I have, trying to figure out what order to do this in. Okay, so I'll do this first. Okay, so this is BFL, and this is so squishy. Oh, this is going to be such a nice spin. And it's so, I don't know if you guys can see how fluffy it is. It's just so fluffy. If you look and see how dense these little braids are compared to how fluffy this is, you know? It's just like so amazing, the difference. Not that one prep is better than the other. It's just like the difference in fluff, you know? So BFL. It doesn't say what colorway it is. And I don't remember if she names her colorways or not. She also does amazing gradients that she custom orders, but she does amazing gradients, like with colors that you wouldn't think go together, but they're just like so great. So there's this one. Tighten this up a bit. Sorry, has to go back in, otherwise it's not going to. With the tag, and here's the tag that came with. And then I got 2 of these because I saw it and was like, I need to spin more than one of these. And there was 2 of it in her shop. So it's really similar to the other one, but it's not quite as purple. Or the purples are lighter rather. So I got 2 of these. And this says mixed BFL. And the color is Finale. Oh, the other color on the other one is Finale. Okay, so this is the 2. Those are the 2. Yeah, Finales. Oh, and this is Finale too. Oh, and this is Finale too. So I have 3 of these. That one looks different. I have 3 of these then, I guess. The colors are more rich than they're showing up there. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to spin that. That's going to be like ridiculous. So I have lots of that then. So I have 12 ounces of that. So that I'm going to make like one huge super skein of just deliciousness because can you imagine the yardage? It won't all fit on the bobbin though. When it's plied. I don't know, maybe it needs to be lace weight. And then maybe it'll fit. It probably won't fit. No, it won't fit. So it'll have to be twisting. Okay, then I got this one, which is Targi, and the color is Frizzle. This one I might break up and spin like colors together. So I might spin like all the grays into all the purples, into all the pinks, into all the lavenders, into all the golds, or something like that. I don't know. I need to open it up and see how it looks. Or like gold to rose to pink to lavender to purple to gray. I think that might be pretty. And then, so the last for the fiber is, when I ordered my wheel, I got a $50 gift card to the Woolery, because I ordered my wheel through the Woolery. And okay, wait, so let's talk about that for a second. So the Woolery is extremely helpful. All the people who work there were totally awesome. So I had questions about the wheel before I bought it. So I emailed them, and within like the next day I had an answer. Like the next morning. So like someone came into the office the next morning, because I emailed late that night. I had an answer in my inbox. They're all like really sweet, and all the people who work in customer service are spinners, so they can actually like answer your question. They're not just like reading the manual and then regurgitating back whatever, you know, Ashford or whatever said about their wheel. They can actually, like, you know, give you their opinion on stuff. The other thing is that I needed the wheel delivered, but you know, between certain dates. Like I needed it at my parents' on a timeline so that I'd be able to open it and look at it and test it and make sure it was okay in case it needed to be sent back because there was an issue with it or something like that. And they put a rush order on it to make sure everything got there in time. There was a problem with one of the fibers that I had ordered. They didn't have it in stock, and they like subbed out stuff, emailed me, convoed me like 4 to 5 times back and forth to see like what I wanted to get. So there, you know, lots of, they're really great customer service at the Woolery. So when you order a wheel, you have the choice of getting either a like beginning spinner's kit, which I believe is like a nitty knotty and some starting fiber, or you can choose a $50 gift card to the Woolery, which is what I chose. Because I knew I'd be wanting some extra bobbins and maybe some extra spinning oil, because I wanted some Ashford oil for my wheel, because I didn't know if I'd be able to find an appropriate substitute here in Chile if I needed it. And then extra bobbins and stuff like that. Plus I wanted to get some kind of bulk plain fiber to start to spin on as practice. And also just to be able to try some different breeds. So what I ended up getting was I just got some plain white BFL top to practice on first. So this is the first fiber that I spun. And this is half of it. This is what's left. This is half of it. About half. I need to weigh it. I don't know exactly what's left. So I tried this first. This is the first thing that I learned to spin on. And then when I felt comfortable with that, then I moved on to like a pretty braid of fiber that I brought from home to practice on, because that way I knew I wouldn't be kind of too beat up about it. I wouldn't feel like I would have to, like, you know, pay homage to the artist, the fiber artist first, the dyer, by doing that justice. Okay, and then I chose to get some Targhee. And these bags, you buy them in either, I think in like 8-ounce increments, or in pound increments. I don't know. So this is 8 ounces Targhee top. So it's combed top. And then, which I haven't spun yet, this is still just waiting to be spun. And then what I'm really, really excited about is, I'm really excited for this. It's, some carded Shetland white. And this, I can still smell the lanolin in it. It says it's 31 microns. But I've read a lot about Shetland because I have a specific plan for this. And Shetland is often, it's like BFL in the fact that, you know, depending on where they took it from, the fleece, you know, the fleece up at the neck and the chest can be like super, super fine and fluffy, and like finer than merino. And then the fleece all the way down at the back can be like 30, 35 microns. So, and then up here at the neck, it can be like 17, 14. So, depending on where on the fleece the fleece came from, depends the grade. So, this doesn't feel like that. Not that I'm way experienced or anything, but you know, this feels like it would, like merino would. Like I can go like this, no problem. I couldn't do this with most Corriedale, which technically would be a finer micron than this says it is on the bag. So, it smells, and I could feel some of the lanolin on my hand still. So, my plan for this is, I have a book that's all about Shetland lace with examples of Shetland lace traditional Shetland lace patterns, constructions on Shetland shawls, all kinds of stuff. So my goal is to spin a 2-ply light fingering with this in white, keep it white, and then design and knit a Shetland shawl. I don't know when that's going to get done. I don't know if it'll ever get done, but that's my goal. So, if anybody has ever spun Shetland that's been carded, if anybody's spun this Shetland, like if you've bought this from the woolery and you've spun this before, I'd love to know your experience with it, and if it turned out the way you wanted, and if you were happy with it, what you would have done different. But I'm really excited about that. I already have some charts drawn up for the lace that I want to do, and construction method. It's going to be a triangular shawl, and it's going to be done in the style of a hat, but not a full square. So I'm really excited about this whole project. I mean, this is going to be one of those like journeys, one of those, Nina, you're insane. What are you doing? I'm being insane, Nina, and spinning Shetland to design a Shetland shawl because I'm crazy. Okay, so the last thing that I have to talk about is kind of really special, and oh, the paperwork is in here. Okay, cool. So the other week or something, we had a fiber fair in Santiago, and there was a whole section of the fiber fair that was the Ministry of Agriculture, Chilean Ministry of Agriculture section, which basically means that this wasn't like a commercial section. This section was purely for people who have farmland, who have either, plant fiber or animal fiber that they raise in Chile that fall under the jurisdiction of the Ministry of Agriculture, that they sell their wares that they create off of their fiber. And I thought that was so cool. And so I was specifically looking for fleece, and I wanted to find some raw fleece that I could process, some raw Chilean fleece that I could process and, from scratch. But every time I find somebody who sells wool, and because my Spanish is like non-existent, so I'm there, and then I have Guillermo ask them if they have raw fleece, and then they think that I'm crazy or whatever. So we found this lady, and she did not think I was crazy. Here's her card. She had yarn, but she also had some fiber. And they are in a town that is like not far away. It's like, I think, an hour or 2 hours away from Santiago. And here is what I bought. I bought 3 of these. So here's the little band. And we weighed them at the time, and she told me how much they weighed, but I forgot. But I got 3 of them, and they all weigh the same. Well, this one I think weighs a little bit more. But it's carded fleece. You can see this one has some white in it. It's carded fleece that is Suffolk down. Because here in Chile, the main breeds that we have here are Merino, Corriedale, Suffolk, and Romney. That's basically what we have. There are a few like more feral breeds down near Chiloé, but that's like what you can find in terms of fleece. I mean, in terms of like wool. If you find Chilean wool, it's going to be one of those. And it's marked Chilean wool, or if it says like rustica, or if it says southern or something like that, it's one of those. So let me put these back in there just so I can have one out. Okay, So this is the small section. Okay. So I saw these in a basket, and she had this kind of like heathered brown gray, and then she had white. And I was like, no, I want the gray. And it's really sheepy, and it's really like I'm touching it, and right away like I have lanolin on my fingers. So, and there's lots of veg matter in there, and it's been carded. Like, see? Seed pod. It's been carded, but I think that the wool wasn't scoured. I think it was just washed in water, because my fingers are sticky just from going like this. But I'll pull a little bit off so you can see it. But look how short this staple is. It's like nothing. There. Not even that. So it's like a true down. So this is going to be really interesting to spin. It's carded really well though. So, I mean, and it's soft. It's very, 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 very soft. So, and it was pretty inexpensive. But I mean, like, I sat down, I pulled it, and I twisted it, and just me pulling and twisting and just, like, hand spinning it, like, I could see how it would, see that? It'll stay together, and it'll draft really easy. So, I'm really excited about this. I have 3. Like I said, I don't know how much. I have to weigh it as I go. And I don't know exactly how to spin this. So I'd like, and there's, like I said, there's lots of veg in here. So I'd like, I have a couple questions. 1, has anybody ever spun in the grease before? Because even though this has been, she said it was washed, there's lots of, like, my fingers are sticky, and my neck, because I rubbed it on my neck. My neck is sticky right now. So, it's going to be pretty much like spinning in the grease, because it's going to get all over my wheel. So 1, has anybody ever spun in the grease before? And if so, how did you find it? Any suggestions that you have for me or anything like that? 2, has anybody ever spun it down? Because I also would love suggestions for that. And 3, what do you think the best way to spin that would be? Because I really would love to spin that, because that would make something so squishy and soft and just so lovely. And I can call her and get as much of it as I want. I mean, as long as she has it, I can get it. So, yeah. So that's my fiber that I've gotten over the last little bit. And I hope you enjoyed seeing all that, because I just enjoyed touching all of it. And now I have to put it all away. But I found some new fiber sources at the Fiber Festival that are relatively local, that, like the merino, that I can use as like a basic spin in between my more kind of luxury stash spins. So that'll keep me going for a while, even though I kind of eat up fiber rather quickly because I'm so into it and I get in the zone and I spin a lot. But yeah. So any advice you guys have for me, I'd love to hear it. Any questions you have, I'd love to hear it. And as soon as I get all those skeins washed up and they're dry, because it's winter, it's cold, they'll take a while to dry, but they're dry, I'll get some pictures up and I'll post them in the threads. So I hope you guys have a great day, and that you are having a good time, and that you spin up something pretty. So I'll see you guys later. Okay, bye.